In today's episode, we're exploring 5 deadly encounters where zoo animals broke free and mauled people. From a security guard who walked into a tiger's path, to a marine biologist who never saw the jaguar coming. But first, let's begin with the first story, where one woman's routine night shift became her final rounds. It was August 23rd, 2017, and the sprawling grounds of Houston Regional Zoo lay in darkness under heavy storm clouds, the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey still evident in the debris scattered across walkways and damaged infrastructure. The 300-acre facility, home to over 6,000 animals, was operating with skeleton crews as staff assessed the extensive damage caused by unprecedented flooding. Emergency lighting cast eerie shadows across empty pathways, while the sounds of stressed animals echoed through the humid night air. Patricia Williams, a 45-year-old night security guard, was beginning her third consecutive 12-hour shift since the hurricane had passed. Patricia had worked at the zoo for 3 years, taking pride in her role as protector of both animals and property during the vulnerable overnight hours. As a single mother raising 2 teenage daughters, she valued the steady income and health benefits that came with her position, often sharing photos of her favorite animals on her Facebook page with 800 friends. Patricia had grown up in Houston's 5th Ward, developing a strong work ethic through years of overcoming economic hardship and personal challenges. Her job at the zoo represented stability and purpose, and she had earned the respect of both day staff and management through her reliability and genuine care for the animals. That night, Patricia was conducting damage assessment rounds while the zoo remained closed to the public, checking for structural problems and ensuring that all animal enclosures remained secure after the storm's devastating impact. The flooding had caused widespread electrical failures, and many of the zoo's sophisticated security systems were operating on backup power or had failed entirely. Malayan tigers are among the world's most powerful predators, with adult males weighing up to 300 pounds and measuring over 8 feet in length. These apex predators possess incredible strength, speed, and hunting instincts that remain sharp even in captivity. Tigers are solitary, territorial animals that become extremely aggressive when stressed or placed in unfamiliar environments. When displaced from their familiar territory, tigers become unpredictable and exponentially more dangerous to humans. Patricia approached the big cat section around 2 a.m., her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness as she inspected each enclosure for storm damage. The Malayan tiger habitat had suffered significant flooding, and the electronic locking system that secured the massive steel gates had been compromised by water damage. Unknown to Patricia, the backup manual locks had also failed, leaving only the weight of the gates themselves to contain the 280-pound male tiger named Boris. Boris had been pacing restlessly since the storm, his natural instincts heightened by the unfamiliar sounds, smells, and disruption to his routine. The massive predator had discovered that he could push against the compromised gate, and his powerful shoulders had gradually worked the barrier open just enough to squeeze through into the service corridor. Patricia was checking her clipboard and preparing to radio her status when she turned the corner into the narrow maintenance hallway. Her flashlight beam immediately illuminated Boris standing in the corridor, his massive frame filling the space between concrete walls. The tiger's charge in the confined space was devastating and inescapable. Boris covered the distance between them in 2 powerful bounds, his massive frame striking Patricia with the force of a freight train. The impact drove her backward against the concrete wall, while his razor-sharp claws found purchase on her torso and shoulders. Patricia's radio flew from her grip and skittered across the floor as Boris's massive weight pinned her against the wall. The tiger's powerful jaws clamped down on her neck, his 4-inch canine teeth puncturing through muscle and vertebrae with crushing force. Boris's territorial instincts drove him to continue the assault until the perceived threat was completely eliminated. Within minutes, Patricia's movements ceased as Boris's brutal assault proved fatal. The massive tiger remained in the corridor, pacing restlessly while guarding his kill and exploring his new territory. The morning cleanup crew discovered the horrific scene when they arrived at 6 a.m. to begin assessing storm damage. Boris was found pacing in the maintenance corridor, his massive frame blocking access to Patricia's body. Zoo emergency response teams arrived with tranquilizer equipment and successfully sedated the tiger after a tense standoff that lasted nearly 2 hours. The investigation revealed that multiple system failures had contributed to the tragedy, including compromised electronic locks, failed backup systems, and inadequate communication protocols during emergency operations. The zoo implemented comprehensive security upgrades, including backup manual locks on all dangerous animal enclosures and enhanced communication systems for night security personnel. Patricia's death devastated her family and the zoo community, prompting industry-wide reviews of emergency protocols and animal containment systems. Her daughters established a scholarship fund for single mothers pursuing careers in animal care, ensuring their mother's dedication to wildlife would continue through future generations of caretakers. But Patricia's encounter with an escaped predator was just the beginning of a series of deadly incidents where zoo animals broke free and turned on their human caretakers. In Arizona, a college student's confidence around primates would prove fatal when he underestimated the territorial fury of an alpha male chimpanzee. It was March 15th, 2014, and the afternoon sun beat down mercilessly on the concrete pathways of Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago, where families with children enjoyed the perfect spring weather while observing animals from around the world. The 49-acre facility buzzed with activity as weekend visitors moved between exhibits, their excited chatter mixing with the calls of exotic birds and the distant roar of big cats. The primate section was particularly popular, with crowds gathering to watch the intelligent chimpanzees interact in their spacious habitat. Marcus Johnson, a 28-year-old part-time zookeeper and University of Illinois student, was preparing for the afternoon feeding routine in the chimpanzee area. Marcus had been working in the primate section for 8 months while completing his degree in animal behavior, and he maintained a small Instagram account with 1,200 followers where he shared educational content about primate intelligence and social dynamics. Marcus had grown up in suburban Chicago, developing his passion for animals through childhood visits to this very zoo. His academic focus on primate behavior had given him theoretical knowledge about chimpanzee social structures, but his hands-on experience was still limited. Marcus took pride in what he believed was his special rapport with the chimps, often spending extra time observing their interactions. That afternoon, Marcus was assigned to feed the chimpanzee troop, a complex social group consisting of 6 adults, led by a dominant male named Caesar. The troop had been experiencing tension due to a recent change in their social hierarchy, with Caesar asserting his dominance more aggressively following the introduction of a younger male to the group. Adult male chimpanzees are among the most dangerous animals in captivity, possessing the strength of 5 grown men combined with unpredictable temperaments that can shift from calm to violent without warning. Caesar weighed 140 pounds of pure muscle, with long arms capable of incredible reach and hands that could grip with crushing force. Chimpanzees have powerful jaws filled with sharp teeth, and they instinctively target the face, hands, and genitals during attacks. Marcus entered the food preparation area adjacent to the chimpanzee holding facility, following what he believed was standard protocol for afternoon feeding. However, Marcus's confidence in his relationship with the chimps led him to become careless about safety procedures. Marcus failed to properly secure the main enclosure gate, assuming that the chimps would remain calm during feeding preparation. Caesar had been displaying increased territorial behavior throughout the week, his stress levels elevated due to the social disruption. The inadequately latched gate proved no barrier to Caesar's powerful shoulders and intelligent problem-solving abilities. The alpha male pushed through the compromised barrier and entered the holding area, where he immediately recognized Marcus as an intruder. Marcus turned from his food preparation to find Caesar standing in the doorway of the small preparation room. The massive chimp's eyes locked onto his position with obvious hostile intent. The confined space eliminated any possibility of retreat. Caesar's attack was swift and devastating. The 140-pound chimp launched himself at Marcus with explosive power, his long arms wrapping around the young man's torso, while his powerful hands found purchase on Marcus's head and shoulders. The impact drove Marcus backward against the metal food preparation counter, trapping him in the corner of the small room. The chimpanzee's hands worked with methodical brutality, his razor-sharp fingernails raking across Marcus's face and scalp, while his crushing grip prevented any possibility of escape. Caesar's territorial instincts drove him to target the areas that would cause maximum damage, his teeth finding Marcus's neck and hands with predatory precision. Marcus's screams for help echoed through the primate building, but Caesar's aggressive posture made immediate intervention extremely dangerous. Other zookeepers arrived within minutes, but Caesar's position in the confined space made tranquilizer darting nearly impossible. Marcus's movements grew weaker as massive blood loss and trauma overwhelmed his system. Marcus died from his injuries before emergency responders could safely intervene and sedate Caesar. The massive chimp was eventually tranquilized with multiple darts, but the confined space and his aggressive behavior had delayed intervention beyond the point where Marcus could be saved. The investigation revealed that inadequate gate security and single-person protocols had contributed to the tragedy. The zoo immediately overhauled its double-gate security system and implemented mandatory two-person teams for all primate interactions. Caesar was relocated to a more secure facility with enhanced containment measures. Marcus's death sent shockwaves through the zoological and academic communities, prompting enhanced safety training for students working with dangerous species. His family established a scholarship fund for aspiring animal behaviorists, emphasizing the importance of respecting wild animals regardless of their apparent familiarity with humans. Yet the dangers weren't limited to obviously aggressive species like tigers and chimpanzees. Sometimes even the most experienced animal handlers fell victim to predators, whose hunting instincts remained razor-sharp despite years in captivity. It was November 7th, 2015, and the golden California sunshine bathed the rolling hills of San Diego Safari Park, where visitors enjoyed close encounters with African wildlife in naturalistic settings spanning 1,800 acres. The world-renowned facility specialized in conservation breeding programs and provided spacious habitats that allowed animals to express natural behaviors while remaining safely contained. The Big Cat section was undergoing routine maintenance to upgrade water features and enrichment elements in the lion habitat. Elena Rodriguez, a 33-year-old veterinary technician, had recently transferred to the Big Cat section after 5 years working with the park's hospital and smaller mammal collections. Elena maintained a small blog with 900 followers, where she documented her work with rescued wildlife and shared conservation success stories. Her passion for animal welfare had driven her to pursue increasingly challenging assignments with dangerous species. Elena had earned her veterinary technology degree from San Diego Community College while working nights to support herself through school. Her Mexican-American heritage had instilled in her a strong work ethic and deep respect for all living creatures. Elena's gentle approach and medical expertise had made her valuable in treating injured and sick animals, but her experience with large predators was still developing. That morning, Elena was assigned to assist with routine maintenance in the African lion habitat, a spacious enclosure that housed a pride of 6 lions in conditions that closely mimicked their natural savanna environment. The maintenance work required the lions to be secured in their holding area while repairs were made to a damaged water feature. African lions are apex predators that live in complex social groups called prides, with adult females weighing up to 280 pounds and possessing incredible strength, speed, and hunting instincts. Lionesses are the primary hunters of the pride, using stealth and coordination to bring down prey much larger than themselves. Even well-fed lions in captivity retain all their predatory behaviors, and they become extremely territorial when their habitat is disturbed. Elena entered the main lion habitat, carrying tools and materials needed to repair the water circulation system, believing that all 6 lions had been secured in their holding area as planned. Unknown to Elena, one of the pride's adult females had remained in the main enclosure due to a malfunctioning gate mechanism. The lioness had been resting in tall grass near the back of the habitat, perfectly camouflaged and invisible to casual observation. Elena began working on the water feature, focusing on the technical aspects of the repair while remaining alert for any signs of the lion's presence. The lioness had been watching Elena's movements from her concealed position, her predatory instincts triggered by the human's presence in what she considered her territory. Elena was kneeling beside the water feature, using tools to access the circulation pump, when the lioness began her final approach. The big cat moved with fluid silence across the habitat, using natural cover and her tawny coloration to remain invisible until she was within striking distance. The attack came without warning or sound. The lioness launched herself at Elena from a distance of 15 feet, her 200-pound frame covering the ground in a single, powerful bound. Elena had no time to react as the predator's massive paws struck her back, driving her face first into the rocky ground while razor-sharp claws found purchase on her shoulders and spine. Elena's emergency whistle fell from her grip as the lioness's weight pinned her to the ground. The big cat's powerful jaws clamped down on Elena's neck, her crushing bite force severing vital arteries and causing massive trauma to her cervical spine. The lioness's predatory instincts drove her to maintain her grip while using her powerful hind legs to rake across Elena's torso, opening deep gashes that caused additional blood loss. Elena's struggles grew weaker as trauma and blood loss overwhelmed her system. Other staff members heard Elena's brief whistle blast and responded immediately, but the lioness's protective stance over her kill made immediate intervention dangerous. Emergency response teams arrived with tranquilizer equipment and successfully sedated the lioness after a tense standoff. Elena was rushed to the hospital, but her injuries were too severe, and she died en route despite the medical team's efforts to save her life. The investigation revealed that a malfunctioning gate mechanism and miscommunication between staff members had created the deadly situation. The safari park immediately implemented mandatory visual confirmation protocols requiring direct observation of all animals before any human entered an enclosure. Enhanced communication systems were installed to prevent similar coordination failures. Elena's death devastated her family and the veterinary community, prompting industry-wide reviews of safety protocols for maintenance activities around dangerous animals. Her blog followers established a memorial fund supporting wildlife veterinary education, ensuring her passion for animal care would continue through future generations of wildlife professionals. However, the most shocking escapes sometimes occurred when natural disasters created opportunities that no amount of planning could prevent. In Colorado, A construction worker's dedication to meeting deadlines would put him directly in the path of a grizzly bear whose massive strength had found a way through damaged barriers. It was June 19, 2016, and the Rocky Mountain air was crisp and clear at 7,000 feet elevation, where Mountain Wildlife Park nestled among towering pines and granite peaks. The 400-acre facility specialized in North American wildlife rehabilitation and education, providing spacious habitats for rescued bears, wolves, and big cats that could never be returned to the wild. Construction crews had been working for weeks to upgrade the grizzly bear viewing area, installing new safety barriers and observation platforms. David Kim, a 31-year-old construction foreman from Denver, was overseeing the final phase of renovations to the bear habitat's public viewing area. David maintained an Instagram account with 2,100 followers who enjoyed his behind-the-scenes construction content and time-lapse videos of major projects. His Korean-American work ethic and attention to detail had earned him a reputation as one of Colorado's most reliable construction supervisors. David had built his construction company from the ground up after immigrating to the United States with his parents as a teenager. His success in the competitive construction industry had come through long hours, meticulous planning, and an unwavering commitment to meeting deadlines regardless of challenges. That evening, David was working alone to install the final section of reinforced viewing barriers, determined to complete the project before the weekend deadline. The construction work required heavy machinery and power tools that generated significant noise and vibration throughout the area. Grizzly bears are among North America's most powerful predators, with adult males weighing up to 800 pounds and possessing incredible strength capable of breaking down doors and overturning cars. These massive omnivores have an acute sense of hearing and become extremely agitated by unfamiliar sounds and vibrations in their territory. Construction noise can trigger territorial responses that make even well-socialized bears unpredictable and dangerous. The construction vibrations from David's heavy equipment had been gradually weakening a section of the bear enclosure's concrete barrier wall that had developed hairline cracks during the previous winter's freeze-thaw cycles. Bruno, a 500-pound male grizzly bear, had been pacing restlessly near the damaged section, his territorial instincts heightened by the persistent noise. David was operating a pneumatic drill to install anchor bolts when Bruno's powerful shoulders finally broke through the compromised barrier section. The massive bear squeezed through the opening he had created, emerging into the construction zone where David was working with his back turned to the enclosure. David was focused on his work, wearing hearing protection that further isolated him from his surroundings. David had no awareness of the escaped predator until Bruno was already charging across the open construction area. The grizzly's charge across the construction site was swift and devastating. Bruno's 500-pound frame covered the distance to David's position in powerful bounds, his massive paws striking the rocky ground with thunderous impacts. David turned at the last moment, his eyes widening in shock as he saw the enormous bear bearing down on him. David attempted to reach his pickup truck parked nearby, but Bruno's superior speed made escape impossible. The massive bear struck David with bone-crushing force, his enormous paw connecting with David's back and driving him face-first into the rocky construction site. The impact shattered several ribs and caused immediate internal bleeding. Bruno's territorial fury drove him to continue the assault, his powerful jaws clamping down on David's neck while his razor-sharp claws raked across his victim's torso. The grizzly's crushing bite force fractured David's cervical vertebrae and severed major arteries, causing massive blood loss and immediate unconsciousness. David's movements ceased within minutes as Bruno's brutal assault proved fatal. The massive bear remained near the construction site, pacing aggressively while investigating the unfamiliar equipment. Zoo security discovered the scene an hour later when David failed to respond to his scheduled check-in call. Bruno was found guarding the construction area, his massive frame blocking access to David's body. Emergency response teams arrived with tranquilizer equipment and successfully sedated the bear after determining it was safe to approach. The investigation revealed that construction vibrations had compromised the enclosure's structural integrity, while inadequate coordination between construction and animal care staff had created the deadly situation. The wildlife park implemented comprehensive structural monitoring systems and mandatory real-time communication protocols for all construction activities near animal habitats. David's death prompted industry-wide reviews of construction safety protocols around dangerous animals and enhanced training for contractors working at zoological facilities. His family established a scholarship fund for immigrant students pursuing careers in construction management. But sometimes the most unexpected escapes occurred when natural disasters created pathways that no security system could anticipate. In Miami, a marine biologist's routine storm damage assessment would become her final assignment when floodwaters provided a Jaguar with an underground route to freedom. It was September 4th, 2018, and the humid South Florida air hung heavy with moisture as Tropical Zoo Miami assessed damage from the previous night's severe thunderstorms. The 740-acre facility, home to over 3,000 animals from tropical climates around the world, had experienced significant flooding in low-lying areas where the storm drainage system had been overwhelmed by unprecedented rainfall. Staff members were conducting systematic inspections to ensure all animal enclosures remained secure and functional. Carmen Silva, a 26-year-old marine biology graduate student, was working part-time as a zoo educator while completing her master's thesis on coral reef conservation. Carmen maintained an Instagram account with 1,600 followers who enjoyed her wildlife education content and behind-the-scenes glimpses of zoo operations. Her passion for conservation had led her to pursue multiple internships and volunteer positions throughout South Florida's marine and terrestrial wildlife facilities. Carmen had grown up in Miami's Little Havana neighborhood, where her Cuban-American family had instilled in her a deep appreciation for the natural world and the importance of protecting endangered species. Her academic focus on marine ecosystems had given her extensive experience with aquatic animals and reptiles, but her knowledge of large terrestrial predators was more theoretical than practical. That morning, Carmen was assigned to inspect the big cat section for storm damage, particularly focusing on drainage systems and structural integrity around the jaguar habitat. The facility's location in low-lying coastal terrain made it vulnerable to flooding, and the previous night's storms had overwhelmed several drainage systems throughout the zoo. Jaguars are the third largest cats in the world and the apex predators of Central and South America, with adult males weighing up to 250 pounds and possessing the strongest bite force of any big cat. These solitary hunters are excellent swimmers and climbers, perfectly adapted for life in tropical wetlands and rainforests. Jaguars are ambush predators renowned for their stealth and patience, often remaining motionless for hours before striking with devastating speed and precision. The flooding had caused more damage than anyone realized. Underground, the stormwater had washed out a section of concrete barrier beneath the jaguar enclosure, creating a tunnel through the facility's storm drain system. Mateo, a 180-pound male jaguar, had discovered this new pathway during his morning exploration and had used his natural swimming ability to navigate the flooded drainage tunnel. Carmen was conducting her inspection near the education center, approximately 200 yards from the jaguar habitat, when Mateo emerged from a storm drain opening concealed by dense tropical vegetation. The big cat had followed the underground drainage system to an area where humans rarely ventured. Mateo approached Carmen's position with the silent patience that had made his species successful hunters for millions of years. The dense landscaping around the education center provided perfect cover for the spotted predator, whose natural camouflage made him nearly invisible among the dappled shadows. Carmen was photographing water damage to the education center's foundation when Mateo positioned himself for his attack. The Jaguar had been observing her movements for several minutes, calculating the optimal moment to strike. The attack came without warning or sound. Mateo launched himself at Carmen from a distance of 10 feet, his 180-pound frame covering the ground in a single powerful bound. Carmen had no time to react as the Jaguar's massive paws struck her back, driving her face first onto the concrete walkway while his razor-sharp claws found purchase on her shoulders and spine. Carmen's clipboard and camera scattered across the ground as Mateo's weight pinned her down. The Jaguar's powerful jaws clamped down on the back of her neck, his crushing bite force instantly severing her spinal cord and causing massive trauma to her cervical vertebrae. Mateo's predatory instincts drove him to maintain his grip, while his powerful hind legs raked across Carmen's torso, opening deep gashes that caused additional blood loss. Carmen's movements ceased within seconds, as Mateo's brutal assault proved fatal. The Jaguar remained positioned over his kill, his territorial instincts now focused on protecting his prize from potential competitors. Visitors in the nearby gift shop heard unusual sounds and alerted zoo security, who discovered the horrific scene within minutes. Mateo was found crouched over Carmen's body near the education center entrance, his predatory instincts still engaged. Emergency response teams arrived with tranquilizer equipment and successfully sedated the Jaguar after ensuring visitor safety. The investigation revealed that unprecedented flooding had created an escape route through the storm drainage system that no security protocol had anticipated. The zoo immediately implemented comprehensive drainage inspections and underground barrier monitoring systems to prevent similar incidents. Carmen's death devastated her family and the marine biology community, prompting enhanced safety training for students working in zoological environments. Her research on coral reef conservation was completed posthumously by her academic advisor, and her family established a scholarship fund supporting Hispanic students pursuing marine biology degrees. The incident highlighted the unpredictable nature of animal escapes and the constant vigilance required to maintain safety around apex predators, even in the most secure facilities. Carmen's dedication to wildlife conservation would be remembered through the enhanced safety protocols that emerged from this tragedy. Thanks for watching. Just when you think you've seen what happens when zoo security fails, click the next video that will show you why anyone can fall victim to the unpredictable nature.